Yes, welcome to today's market outlook. So continuing from where we had stopped, we usually start with the dollar index, and then it helps us to understand the direction of the other dollar pairs. And then once we analyze the dollar index, we go to other pairs. So tracking the dollar index from the monthly time frame, like we've been doing, we said we're expecting the dollar index to actually be able to rally up all the way up to these highs. But then we are expecting a lot of reactions around these lower highs. And then why are we basing on that? We are basing on the fact that this candle, how it has closed so bullish, and then the fact that these support areas have actually held price for a long period of time without price breaking them. And to be specific, that. So if you look at this now, you realize we have actually broken above this resistance area, and we are targeting possibly all the way up to these highs. But there are areas in which we are expecting reaction. So from this region where the market had actually broken, we're expecting reactions from there. Yeah. And then, of course, the fact that these lows have actually held price for long, this is the monthly chart. So we expect a retest to happen here on these highs which have been taken out, which has actually happened. And now we are expecting the move to all these highs. So in other words, we are really expecting the dollar strength, but we don't want to forget this low. There may also actually be another reaction here, resistance areas. So once we have these, our areas marked on the higher time frames, we can still look for more areas, which is here. These are other possible support areas if price is to push back down. So let's go into the weekly chart and begin to continue to track price. So on the weekly chart, this is also what we have our resistance area here, where we shall expect price to do some reactions and possibly some retest areas and stuff like that. So this is what we have. This is the resistance area which had been broken, and the market was able to come and retest it, and now we are heading all the way up there. So looking at it from the daily time frame, this is what we have. So you can see this is a strong support area, support. The market has actually failed to be able to break above these support areas. And now we are seeing that the defined area for our trading is actually here. So we are trading in this zone whereby we know below here is our support, and then possibly here we have our resistance areas. But we shouldn't forget that these other highs here will also provoke price reaction, and price will actually be able to react from there. So this is what we have. If now you want to see more highs and lows being taken out, you realize this is what we have. So we have actually created other mini support area here on top of this main support, which is a monthly support. And now we have the possibility of another support area around this region here. So when you come to your lower time frame, like the 4-hourly time frame, we really want to be able to study price, how it is going to behave around here. If we see that shift in bullish pressure, and then we can certainly have the conviction that price is actually going to be able to build up from here and then head up. Yeah, to continue with the dollar strength. So we have another support area here. But again, you should be open-minded. If this level is broken, then we still have this level. So this is what we think on the DXY. Overall, we think the dollar is still very strong. So once you understand the direction of the dollar index, you will just be more cautious and then more careful on how you want to trade the dollar so that you're not caught on the wrong side. So if you also went and looked at the information, I mean like the technical data, things like CPI, non-farm payrolls and all of that, for last month, they were actually positive. So waiting this week where we actually have NFP week. So it is also important to be able to study some and know what is going to happen in terms of news-wise, the news which are coming. So this week we are into is NFP week, and you will want to trade cautiously. So look at Monday, we have German prelim CPI, and then on Tuesday, that's when we have the JPY conference, and then we have Canadian news. Wednesday, we do have employment change in New Zealand, and several other news on Wednesday. Then rounding it off on Thursday, we have a monetary policy summary for pound. So, and then coming up on Friday, we have the employment exchange and then the non-farm payrolls. So you just need to know exactly the week we are entering in. So this is news week. You want to trade cautiously and be strict on your money management. So going back to the dollar index, so this is our understanding. So the data that is going to be released in this new coming month will actually be able to determine possibly the direction of the dollar. But the best thing to always look at is that most of the information we're looking at are actually embedded in the candlesticks. So if you understand candlestick dynamics, you will actually understand that all these technical data are factored into that. So at that, let's go and look at some JPY pairs. JPY is actually looking good. So let's go with the famous one that everybody usually wants to trade, that is GJ. So let's look at GJ again from the monthly perspective, and then we can be able to scale all the way down. Let me just come to the yearly perspective so that we have a better understanding of the dollar index. So these are highs the market has actually not been able to reach. Then we have these levels that we have. there's a video, you just need to look at how we mark our levels, where we just mark our highs and lows for the candles that have closed. So you can check it out to understand exactly that. So we have these highs and all of that. So when we come to the monthly chart, we want to understand where price is actually trading from. So if you look at this, the whole of this, that's like your supply area, and that's why the market is actually reacting here. Anyway, so let's focus on these candles which are here. So if you look at these highs, price pushed up all the way there, but then we have this failure to reach this high. So we have another high which has been, we have these highs. Let me first mark this. We have this lower high, and then price has actually. So when we come to the weekly, you realize this is what we have, whereby we can just have this as our weekly high, which is our weekly resistance, because you can see here, this was resistant, was broken, the market came and broke it up, and now we're having a retest of this. So we have resistance. So now, once we have that on the weekly, we also need to understand other weekly resistance areas. So these areas, there are other areas. So we have two resistance areas here, 1, 2. So, and then we have the whole of this week to be filled. So if you look at price from the weekly chart, you realize the market is actually beginning to form a downtrend. Why do we know it's a downtrend? Because we have this resistance which was broken, market breaks it, and then comes below and then tries to go back, fails to break this one the second time, and then comes back down, forms these highs, and then wicks back into these lows. So there's a high possibility of the JPY is actually looking very strong. Even if you have to draw your trend line from just touching any 2 points, that's what you will have. But you need to understand the highs and the lows that are being formed here. So when we come to our daily, we want to be able to understand price and how it has been moving. So this is the earlier resistance area. We've drawn this and this and this. So now we are having and seeing price actually pulling back to this resistance and then breaking back. So we have this area which is actually acting as our resistance area. So, and it's looking very bearish. So again, we have these lows here that we want to be taken out. So if these lows are broken, then this will act as our next resistance, support becoming resistance, because I'm seeing a scenario whereby this support is working. So something like that could actually happen where it is broken, then it becomes resistance, and then we possibly be able to head down all the way up to there. So just to give you a heads up, you can actually check at other JPY, like the JPY is looking very strong across all pairs. So you just want to position yourself also in the right way. Yeah. So with that being said, let's go to Swiss pairs. So looked at the dollar, we know the direction of the dollar, and then some JPY, and then let's get to the Swiss pairs, the pairs that many people do not want to trade, but they're actually one of the best. So let's look at this from, again, the highest time frame possible. This is CAD Swiss. So if you look at this from this time frame, you realize that the Swiss is just too strong for the CAD and has been actually trending to the downside. And now we are possibly at a fresh low. And if you've been watching our videos, I explained the concept whereby whenever price forms a new low after taking out the previous low, there is a tendency to be able to move up. The same thing we saw here, and then we had this rejection. So we saw this, and then we have this, and now we possibly have a new fresh low. So something like that could actually be happening because this is an all-time low. But we need to understand this better on the lower time frame. So once we have this, we just need to mark our highs and then our lows. So this is the previous lows, which you can actually call which was your support area. So this area was actually supporting price here, 1, 2, 3, and then pushes back, and then it is broken, it becomes a resistance. So this is the area we have support becoming a resistance here. So once we have that, let's not forget this low also. We have a low here, which the market has actually wicked below. So once we have these two areas, we know these are our resistance areas. So if price breaks this, then we will wait for around here. If it doesn't, then this is where it will reverse and form a new low. But once we have that, we go to the monthly chart. And on the monthly chart, we want to be able to understand also the lows and the highs. So we have our resistance area around this. But then there is this major support area that price has actually not been able to take the monthly chart. And looking at the way this candle is closed, a lot of bearish pressure indicating that the Swiss is actually too strong for the CAD. So again, we need to be able to mark your lows and your highs to be able to determine your support and resistance areas. As simple as that. So you have your support, then it is broken. This support becomes a resistance here. So you have these highs and then these highs here. And looking at how bearish this candle is, there's a possibility of this to be broken. So shall we be able maybe to see a new low being formed here before we can be able to push up here? That's what we shall have to see over the weeks or over the month. So coming to the weekly time frame, this is what we actually have. So we have our support area here. We want to see how this support is actually going to hold price, how strong it is going to be. And then we have our resistance area. Why do we call it this resistance? You can see here, this was support was broken. This support became resistance here. And then again, it was broken and broken back into. So this is the level the market has actually respected some good time. So these are the two scenarios we have. So we want to be able to see now what could actually happen around here. Are we going to have see this area that is being rejected? So we have support here, and then we have resistance and this. So we want to see how price will actually be able to play along this region. So the best thing to actually wait to trade is wait for price to come here, see whether there will be a shift in bullish pressure. Yeah. So this is what we have on a few pairs. Maybe let's look at CAD pairs. Something CAD pair, so Euro CAD, and then we can call it a day. So you just need to understand, once you know the perspective of the JPY, the perspective of the dollar, perspective of the Swiss, then you can see now how you can best relate those. Yeah. So we're not going into the details of explaining every pair one by one. It will take the whole day. So we just need to understand what is happening, the bigger picture, then we pick a pair. So from the monthly, yearly chart, you will see that the CAD is actually playing, and it's kind of ranging the whole of this time. It's looking like range, so there's no clear trend on the bigger time frame. So, but then we need to understand it more on the lower time frame. So once we come to the monthly chart, we need to just mark our highs and our lows, like we always explain. So we have these areas as our highs, which was this was support, and then here support was broken, support became resistance. That's what we have. And then we have these lows, which was also our support areas. We have these lows. So we have support here, broken, and then to became a resistance, broken, to became support. So that's what we have on EuroCAD. And then once you have this monthly candle, so we can call this monthly high as our nearest resistance. So when we come to our weekly candle, we want to be able to see how price has actually been moving. So we have these highs where we have this as support, resistance area, and now here. But if you look at this candle, it has actually taken away these highs. So this is our support, because you look at this break, this was support here. If you just put it here, you realize this candle was broken, market came to retest it, and then it was later broken, became a resistance. Now resistance is broken, so we have support and we have this resistance area. So when you come to the daily, that's what you see. So we just want to wait for price to reach this size, and then all pull back to this region here. So we're not actually placing any direct trades now. We just want to understand more and how price is moving. But if you want to scale to the lower time frame, you realize this is also another area of break here. So we just extend it here. You'll see how this level has actually been respected. Then maybe coming to the 4-hourly and stuff like that, you will see this is your next support area before these ones here. So yeah, but we don't scale too much to the lower time frame. But you just need to understand the overall direction. So the euro is actually stronger than the CAD. Yeah. So with that being said, you just need to be able to trade carefully and understand the perspective of many pairs. Yeah. So otherwise, thank you. Have a good day.